Color guard all. Color guard, prepare to post the colors. Color guard, post the colors. Color guard, reform. Color guard, retreat.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the University of Findlay, we welcome you to our annual Veterans Day observance. My name is Nicole Berge, President of the Alumni Board of Governors. We are grateful to have so many of you, of our faculty, staff, students, as well as Findlay veterans and their families joining us through our live stream today. It is an honor to recognize all those who are currently serving and who have served our country. The Veterans Wall was gifted to the University of Findlay on behalf of the class of 1966's 50th anniversary of their graduation from Findlay College. This honor wall is a living tribute that serves as a constant reminder on our campus of the many sacrifices that our servicemen and women make to give us the freedoms we enjoy today. We are honored to call these veterans Oilers. Today and every day, we thank these and all veterans for their service and for the many sacrifices they make on behalf of our great country. I would like to take the opportunity to thank Kenneth Eckelberry, leader of the Boy Scouts of America Troop 308 from Findlay, for bringing these scouts as the color guard today and posting the colors for our ceremony. In addition, I would like to thank Lindsay Allen, the University of Findlay Choir, Dr. Brett Bond, President Catherine Fell, and Ryan Gildow for their participation in today's program. I would also like to recognize all University of Findlay Alumni Board of Governors, Dr. Marcia Latta, Vice President of University Advancement, and A.R. Carnes, Chair of the Board of Trustees. Thank you. Immediately following our observance, we will begin a reading of the over 700 names on the Veterans Honor Wall. We hope you will be able to stay with us for this very special tribute. We have a wonderful program planned, and we hope you find this time of honoring and remembering our veterans to be very meaningful. I would now like to invite forward Lindsay Grace Allen. Lindsay is a sophomore in UF's Animal Science Pre-Vet program, as well as campus ministries member. Lindsay's father, William Bland Allen IV, is an active duty lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Marine Corps. He is currently serving his country as an infantry officer and strategic planner at Marine Forces North in New Orleans, Louisiana. Lindsay will now give our invocation and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Would you all please join me in prayer? Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the blessing of this university and for its fantastic alumni and supporters. Thank you for this day of coming together to honor our military and veterans. We are incredibly grateful for every U.S. veteran, including the over 700 UF alumni that have served this country. We hold them all in the highest degrees of honor, respect, and pride. We ask that you remind us daily of the sacrifices they have made to preserve our freedom. Help us to live each day in a manner worthy of their service. May your protective hand shelter those who currently serve in active duty, and may you increase the gratefulness in our hearts, not only for our veterans, but also for all you've given us. It is in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, that I pray. Amen. Those who are able, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, the University of Findlay Choir will perform a virtual performance of the national anthem. Please remain standing.
I would like to take this opportunity to introduce alumnus Dr. Brett Bond. After graduating and earning his undergraduate degree in biology from the University of Findlay in 1999, Dr. Bond continued his education at the University of Toledo, earning his medical degree. He then served in the United States Navy as a naval flight surgeon. Dr. Bond deployed twice in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. Following his U.S. Navy service, he completed his anesthesia residency at the University of Michigan. In addition, Dr. Bond completed his interventional pain fellowship at Johns Hopkins University. Currently, he is a physician specializing in interventional procedures at Northwest Ohio Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Brett Bond.
Well, first of all, thank you, Nicole, for that introduction. I'd also like to thank the University of Findlay here for contacting me and asking me to speak at this Veterans Day event. It's a great honor for me as an alumni of the university, as well as a U.S. Navy veteran, to be here today. I know that this is a virtual event, so I also want to thank everybody out there who's logged in and is watching this Veterans Day observance today. I am a U.S. Navy veteran, and I currently do work as an interventional pain physician, as she mentioned, at Northwest Ohio Orthopedics here in Findlay, Ohio. I actually came here to the University of Findlay after graduating from Riverdale High School in 1996. I was valedictorian in my class, so that offered me the opportunity to receive a full tuition scholarship. Knowing that I was going to be actually doing a career in medicine, or at least I had planned on that, education costs was something that I had to keep under control, so the tuition assistance certainly was helpful. I also had the opportunity to continue my football career while here at the University of Findlay as a place kicker. And as many of you know, the University of Findlay has had quite success over the years with the football program. I was coached by Coach Strom when he was here, and I'm a very proud member of the 1997 National Championship team, for which I was the place kicker the entire season. It was very important for me to be able to continue my career in football, and I wanted to be able to pursue playing football at a collegiate level. And at the same time, I knew the science programs here have always been strong, from their pre-veterinary program, and now they've continued to grow with physical therapy, pharmacy programs. So I felt very comfortable that the science training here would prepare me for my medical education. In addition to myself graduating here, my wife graduated in May of 2000. My father attended here when it was Findlay College and graduated in 1973 with a history major. My brother is also a University of Findlay graduate, and most recently my niece graduated in May of 2020 with her Bachelor's in Science for Nursing. So you might say that being an Oiler kind of runs in the family. I have a lot of memories here from when I was at the University of Findlay, from studying with friends, preparing for examinations, to on the football field, the relationships and friendships that I built there that continue on to this day. I think that, Coach Strom, I'm going to go back to him for a bit here because as any of you know, Coach Strom, you know that he's a very influential person, and he's been a huge role model in my life. He's been through a lot from a medical standpoint, if any of you are familiar with that. And if you are, you will understand where I kind of learned this never give up attitude and continue fighting. And I really think that has helped me with my advanced education pursuits and being able to train at some of the top programs in the country, including University of Michigan for anesthesia and Johns Hopkins for my pain fellowship. Now we're going to talk a bit about my Navy time. I decided during my first year of medical school to apply for a health profession scholarship program with the U.S. Navy. Essentially, they will, if you're selected, will help pay for your medical education in return for you providing health care while in service with that branch of the military, excuse me. The Navy I kind of chose mostly because of my grandfather's experience in the Navy, as well as I felt that they offered really the experiences that I kind of wanted to have moving forward, including being a Navy flight surgeon that Nicole had mentioned. As important as the University of Findlay was in the very beginning for my training, I think the Navy provided me additional advances in my medical education and also provided me opportunities that really I couldn't have gotten anywhere else, such as flying helicopters. I mean, that's pretty cool. I did serve as a U.S. Navy flight surgeon. I was stationed with the Marine Corps, and we were stationed down in Jacksonville, North Carolina. The squadron was HMH 461, and I have a great deal of respect for all those who are pilots and aircrew and what they go through. As she mentioned, we had 2 deployments in support of Operation during Freedom to Djibouti, Africa, and the Horn of Africa. Some of our missions I can't talk about, but the ones that we can talk about are the humanitarian missions we did, as well as some of the other things, and including a life-saving rescue that we did, where I did earn the Sikorsky Life-Saving Award for that. We stand today here in front of the basically the Veterans Honor Wall at the University of Findlay on Veterans Day. I think that this wall means a great deal to me, as well as every other veteran whose name is on this wall. It serves as an inspiration to all present students and future students. And again, I think it reminds us that our freedoms today are because of sacrifices that our military men and women have made for the United States. I feel very honored to be one of over 700 graduates or attendees at the University of Findlay who are on our wall. And I look forward to seeing this wall continue to grow in the future with the years moving forward, representing the university's continued ongoing commitment to support our country. I do think that this wall can serve as a lasting impact on Veterans Day, but how we honor our veterans each and every day of the year. And I think I would ask that all of you, if you know a veteran, please tell them thank you today for their service to the country. Finally, I want to send out some thanks to the class of 1966. I mean, without them, really this wall wouldn't have become a reality, so I do thank them for that. I'd also like to thank Julie Klinger, Tyler Jacobs, Nicole Berge, the Boy Scouts of America Troop 308, and all other members of this program today. Finally, I'd like to thank the president of the University of Findlay, Dr. Catherine Fell, and I believe that she's up next at the podium, so I'm going to turn things over to her now. Thank you all, and happy Veterans Day.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today, all of you. A special thank you to Boy Scout Troop 308 from Findlay and our very own Dr. Brett Bond for being a part of this wonderful Veterans Day program. I'm very proud that the University of Findlay and Findlay College before that played a part in the success of the Bond family. At the University of Findlay, we work hard every day to fulfill our mission to equip students for meaningful lives and productive careers. We are, of course, honored to have alumni veterans as well as current student veterans in our Euler family. The University of Findlay has been ranked among the best of the Midwest for veterans by U.S. News and World Report and has been named to Victory Media's military-friendly schools list 4 times. The University of Findlay recognizes and is grateful for the sacrifices that our United States military personnel and their families have made to maintain our nation's safety and to uphold our constitutional rights. We strive to ensure we are supporting our student veterans and provide services tailored to their specific needs. One of the ways we accomplish this is by participating in the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs Yellow Ribbon Program, which, along with other benefits, helps to offset the costs of an exceptional UF education. We are also delighted to have the honor wall established at the university. We demonstrate our commitment to the men and women who sacrifice their freedoms to protect our way of life by displaying this wonderful wall of heroes. We also demonstrate that commitment by formally signing a statement of support declaring the University of Findlay a veteran-friendly campus. By being a veteran-friendly school, we mean much more than just being friendly. We foster a culture that is supportive, appreciative, respectful, embracing, and inclusive of the veterans we educate. By publicly signing this statement of support, we are proudly declaring before all of you and before our beloved country that we support our student veterans and could not be more honored to do so. So if you'll give me a moment, I will officially sign this declaration. Thank you. Again, thank you for joining us today and sharing in this special time to honor our veterans. Next, we'll hear from Ryan Jeffrey Gildow, a University of Findlay band member and a junior in our pharmacy program. Ryan Gildow will now play taps to pay respect to our military heroes.
Thank you for joining us today and sharing in this special time to honor our veterans. Here at the University of Findlay, we work hard to ensure our mission to equip students for meaningful lives and productive careers is lived out daily. We witness this mission in action through our students, faculty, staff, alumni, board members, trustees, community support, and especially in the lives like those of Dr. Bond. Thank you again for joining us today, and thank you to everyone who participated in our program. The University of Findlay recognizes and is very grateful for the sacrifices that our United States military personnel and their families make to maintain our nation's safety and to uphold our constitutional rights. It is an honor to recognize each and every one of you today. As mentioned earlier, we will conduct a reading of the names following our program. Any of you who wish to stay are welcome to do so, or you may come and go as you please. Thank you. We will now begin a reading of the names. Benjamin Abraham, April Adams, Richard Albert II, Connie Algie, Nicole Almond, Blake Amasquita, Jack Amons, Russell Amons, Ronald Amrine, Robert Andressen, Amanda Appy, Charles Adrazone, Elwood Amsler, Paul Ombrick, Bradley Arnold, Stephen Ari, Dakota Artman, Nicholas Asaju Boafo, Ralph Ascom Sr., Ralph Ascom Jr., Richard Oxer Jr., Donald Bodicher, Brett Bond, Dennis Baker, Michael Banky, Doran Barfeld, Robert Barger, Katrina Barnon, Curtis Barth, Jamie Bash, Walter Basil, Lester Baum, George Bayer, Theodore Bayless, Ronald Beach Jr., Thomas Beal Jr., Barry Beal, Jason Beckford, Dwight Beery, Roy Belcher II, Thomas Bell, Craig Benson, John Berg, Richard Berg, Joe Bibler, Nathan Bigham, Victor Binkley, Charles Bish, Richard Bishop, Alec Bissell, Chad Blair, John Blyde, John Bodie, Gordon Bulmer, Arthur Bookwater, Logan Bosley, David Bozio.
Randall Bullion, Michael Bloutwell, Don Bauer, David Bowling, Judith Boyle, Timothy Bradford, Matthew Brand, Kenneth Brandt, Ralph Bresler, James Bryce Jr., Shay Brindle, David Brooks, Jack Brown, Andrew Bryant, Francis Breezigo, Lynn Buchanan, William Buck, Timothy Buckland, Jacqueline Bucksbaum, Matthew Bueller, Joseph Bowman, Jessica Bunch, Howard Bergen Jr., Christopher Burke, Michael Burke, Bruce Burkett, Emily Burris, Arthur Burton, James Burton Jr., Aaron Butler, Stacy Caldwell, Graydon Callahan, Gina Campbell, Kathleen Cannon, Paul Capel, Raymond Carey, Robert Carl, Robert Carpenter, Howard Carpenter, Joseph Carell, Sierra Carter, George Chapin, Logan Chapman, Kai Chang, Casey Chilbert, Kenneth Chisholm, James Chrisman, Brett Christie, Scott Simonillo, John Sindrick Sr., Philip Ciprani Jr., Charles Clapper, Travis Clark, Robert Clark, Rachel Coberly, Joel Coughlin, Alfonso Cohill.
Neil Cole, Irvin Cole Jr., Gerald Collins, William Conaway, Chelsea Concha, R. Brent Conley, Sandra Conley, Nolan Connell, Lucy Conley, Ernest Cook, Jeffrey Cooper, Paul Corbin, Caitlin Correa, Justin Kramer, Larry Kramer, Richard Crawfish, Jean Crawford, Megan Cross, Richard Crowder, Jack Croy, Martin Cruz, Dorrance Cuba, Jamel Calbreth, Paul Culler, Terry Couples, Lynn Couples, Peter Daub, John Davidson, Richard Davies, Jonathan Davis, Paula Davis, Paul Davis, Richard Deerdorf, Richard Delapina, Derek DeLong, Earl DeLong, Frank Demuria, Amber Diaz, Stephen Dickerson, Thomas Deach Sr., Kevin Dills, Neil Deshawn, Kenneth Dowling, Robert Drake, Kyle Dressbach, Homer Donovan, Robert Dunbar, John Duncan, Jean Durace, Joe Dye, Carl Dyer, Matthew Dyer, Raymond Dyer, Loring Ebersol, Reeve Ekman, Julia Edelbrock, Ralph Eddy.
Heather Edmondson, Levi Edwards, Orville Ide, Emily Elzer, Donald Ellswick, Albert Endrick, Thomas Erb, William Evans, Benjamin Evanbeck, Vicky Falgren, James Farrison, Thomas Farley, Charles Farling, Brian Farr, Anthony Federico, Edward Feitner, Brian Feldman, John Ferguson Jr., Ave Maria Fields, Miller Fink, Stephen Finley, Rachel Finn, Garrett Firestein, Alec Fissel, Murray Fitzgerald, Thomas Fitzpatrick, Raymond Flanagan, Christopher Fleischman, Pauline Fleming, Wayne Flick, Jason Florence, Brian Flores, Carolina Flores, Dwayne Folk, Bernard Fortna, Dennis Foster, Aaron Fox, Joshua Fox, Mark Fox, Lancelot Francione, Daniel Francione, Dominic Frito, Debo Freed, Joshua Frisbee, Corey Fritsch, Joseph Freidinger, James Fry, Victor Fuentes, Robin Folks, Jenny Gaines, Megan Gardner, Roger Gardner, Harold Gardner, Shonda Gatlin, William Gaiman Sr., James Gearing, Jessica Geiger Hayes.
Merle Gebhardt Jr., Robert Gebhardt, James Gerke, Eunice Gilbert, Dale Gillespie, Rakul Gayente, Lauren Glover, Fred Golke Jr., Robert Gooding, Jeffrey Gorsey, Wayne Gosnell, Brett Graham Sr., Cedric Granger, Leonard Graves, Fred Green, Chad Griffith, John Grimm, David Gross, Don Grubb, Alexander Gutierrez, Earl Guy, Derek Euro, Kermit Hanley, Norman Hanley, Sheldon Hall, Cody Hancock, Kristen Harder, James Harkey, William Harlan, William Harrell, Stephen Harris, James Hartman, Misty Hartnett, John Hasten, James Hall, Robert Halsey Sr., Jacob Hay, Jennifer Hayes, Shane Haynes, Edward Hazel, Linda Heckman, Conrad Hedrick, William Heiston, Paul Helms, Lance Henderson, Donald Henniger, George Henry, David Hensley, Russell Helpler, Scott Helpler, Alan Helpler, George Hess, Austin Hickel, William Hicks, Andrew Heister, Charles Hilborn, Hannah Hildebrand.
Chad Hill, Erica Hill, James Hill, Richard Hill Sr., Richard Hildebrand, Richard Hills, David Hindle, James Hindle, Carl Hinton, Roy Hinton, Russell Happensteel, Douglas Hodges, Joseph Hoffman, Maurice Hoffman, Jack Holcomb, Rebecca Holstein, Dennis Holzinger II, Walter Holman, Della Huntz, Michael Hoops, Wayne Hofrasas, Michael Hostler, John Hostler, Michael Howdeshell, John Houston, Jeffrey Howard, Byron Howe, Frederick Howes, Michael Hensiri III, Mark Hudson, Michaela Hoffman, Mary Catherine Hughes, Barry Hall, Charles Hunter Jr., Jamie Huntington, Edson Houston, Jeremy Jackson, Raymond Jacobs, Richard James, Jerry Jenkins, Brian Jennings, William Johannesson, Andrew Johnson, Eunice Johnson, Eric Johnston, Joshua Jones, Clarence Jones, James Judd, Harry Canuck, William Caton, David Kay, Ryan Keck, Zachary Keaton, James Kneflis Jr., Ted Keir, Rhonda Cares, Eugene Keller.
George Keller, Elvin Keller, Leland Keller, Nicole Kelly, Ronald Kelly, Joseph Kendall, Michael Kennard, James Kidd, Stephen Kim Hay, Martin Kisla, James Clausing, Gordon Kleiner, Hugh Kleinhens, Emily Cleash, Larry Klingler, Sammy Koch, Stephen Korb, Richard Krause, Joshua Crace, Laverne Kramer, Laura Kroger, Richard Kroger, Thomas Krogman, Timothy Lafferty, Brian Lambert, William Lanning, Lawrence Lape, William Lape, Charles Lashinsky, Delbert Latta, Larry Logger Jr., William Lawyer, Dudley Lay, Daniel Leaks, Haley Leaks, Clifford Lee, Donald Lefevre, Michael Lemons, Dennis Lengel, Frank Leslie, Keith Lewis, Ronald Lewis, Frederick Lewis, Ned Linder, Aaron Little, David Long, Greg Longworth, George Love, Daryl Loveridge, Jeffrey Locksterman, Daniel Ludwig, Glenn Luxick, Robert Lundy, James Lunn, Guy Lyon, Jonathan Mass, Richard Magsig, Arlo Maines, Myrell Mallory.
Wendell Marvin, Chad Marzick, Scott Masel, Jacob Maurer, David Moggins, Matthew McBrien, Derek McCartney, Kathleen McCarty, Laura McLean Belts, Britton McClintock, Emily McClure, Thomas McDonald, Virgil McDougall, Cassandra McDowell, John McDowell, Milo McDowell, David McGuire, Timothy McIntyre, Jack McMichael, Martin McMullen, Michael McPherson, Harold Meter, Donald Mears, Derek Meredith, Casey Messenger, Kyla Meyer, Douglas Michael, John Mickley, Irvin Miles, Brittany Miller, Isaiah Miller, David Miller Sr., James Miller, Jacob Menning, Wayne Menning, Marvin Monroe, Charles Moore III, Christopher Moore, Jacqueline Moore, Kevin Moore, Joe Moorhead, John Moss, Walter Mueller, Anthony Muniz, Amanda Munoz, Gabriel Munoz, Wayne Murray, Larry Muser, James Musson, Joseph Meyer, Abram Myers, Christopher Myers, Stephen Nathanson, Aaron Nazario, Rachel Neff, Eugene Niederheiser, John Needley, Bennett Nelson.
Kristen Newton, Douglas Nichols, Wayne Nichols, Max Niebel, Thomas Niedermeyer, James Nieswander, Charles Nakurbu, Michael Noble, Jason Noonan, Terry Nordyke, Gary Norris, Sarah Novotny, Morris Now, Dio O'Boy, Robert O'Brien, Maru Okraspoma Calderon, Ryan O'Donnell, Luke Olney, Justin Olson, Sean Omen, Robert Osman, Matthew Otto, Teresa Overman, Corey Overmeyer, Chaz Pacholk, Miguel Padron, John Park, James Parks, Arthur Patterson, Aaron Polly, Brielle Pierce, David Pelfrey, Antonio Perez, Daniel Perry, Don Peterman, Christopher Peterson, John Peterson Sr., J. Dwayne Phillip, Wallace Phillips, Ellery Pippins, Stephanie Pitts, Curtis Pullman, Dean Pullman, Samuel Pontillo, Michael Poole, Vern Poor, George Powell, Eugene Powell, Arthur Poynton, Robert Pratt, Charles Presley, George Preston, Vernon Preston, Arnold Price, H. Ray Prickett, Kyle Pritz, Richard Pritz, Charles Purcell.
Robert Purdy, Robert Quick, Donald Rader, Carl Rader, Richard Rader, Alexander Rado Jr., Edward Railing, Brandon Ramsey, Dale Roush, Clinton Ravencraft, Frederick Ravenscraft, Elizabeth Ray, Aaron Ray, James Rayford Jr., Diego Rail, Stephen Rail, George Reamsnyder, Robert Redman, James Redman, Benjamin Reeder, Lee Reeg, Richard Reen, Elizabeth Reese, Larry Regal, Alexander Reiner, Rodney Ryder, Scott Renfro, Roger Rhodes, Robert Rice, Lucas Richard, Harry Richards, Adam Richmond, Max Ridge, Robert Ridge, John Riley, Carla Reist, Austin Roberts, Glenn Roberts, Franklin Rodabaugh, Anthony Rodriguez, Christopher Rodriguez, Drew Rogers, Roger Romer, Ray Romero, James Romick, William Ronstadt, Chris Roper, Lisa Rosen, Carlisle Rosser, Paige Rosman, Franklin Royer, Edna Rudolph, Charlotte Russell, Marvin Russell, Norman Russell, Charles Russell, John Russell, David Ryan.
Brad Salisbury, Russell Sanders, Van Saul, Tommy Sawen, Maurice Sayer, Kevin Skansny, Michael Skansny, Richard Schaefer, Caitlin Shush, Dustin Schlump, Roy Schmunk, Gary Schneider, Joseph Schroeder, Joffrey Schultz, Lawrence Scobie Jr., George Scott, Sarah Scott, Stephen Seaholm, Herman Cersei Lunkett, Franklin Searfoss, Joshua Seedorf, Donald Schaefer, Stacy Sharp, Teresa Shadden, Cecil Shawley, Daniel Schieffer II, Stacy Sherman, Eric Schidler, Gary Shirley, Wayne Shively, Raymond Shoemaker, Haley Shook, Austin Scholl, Fremont Shaw, Nicholas Shun, Todd Skaggs, Carl Sleesman, Franklin Sleesman, Murr Sleesman, Leanne Sliva, James Slow, Tyler Slusser, John Smilo, Antoinette Smith, Rodney Smith, Todd Smith, George Snyder Jr., James Snyder, Edwin Snyder, John Snyder, Edwin Sorensen, Julia Souza IV, Jericho Spielman, James Spittler, Sean Spradlin, Barry Sprink, Roger Stultler, Shannon Standish.
Kenneth Stouffer, Robert Steele, Bruce Stefanik, Daniel Stelatel, Andrew Sterling, Jerry Stevenson, Kevin Stewart, John Stimmel, Matthew Stombaugh, Kenneth Stutt, Carl Stowe, Robert Strom, Richard Straight, Lee Stratton, Ross Strower, Chloe Stringham, Michael Struckel, Thomas Sudamak, Jeffrey Sullivan, Larry Surratt, Cletus Swigard, Ralph Switzer, Joseph Svetpetri, Jerry Simonowitz, Christopher Tabor, Charles Tank, William Tatum, Jacqueline Taylor, Theodore Taylor, Timothy Taylor, Thomas Taylor, Daniel Teal, Robert Toma Jr., Donald Thomas, Floyd Thomas, Robert Thomas, Cameron Thompson, James Thompson, Michael Teague, Alan Tobin, Harold Todd, Aaron Tong, Stephen Tonsberg, Robert Trask, Kristen Trotwine, Howard Trostmiller, Thomas Trutt, Jonathan Tullis, Glenn Tussing, George Tuttle, Mary Jo Urshelitz, Raymond Van Guten, Richard Van Horn, Don Van Zant, Richard Van Scoit, Joel Velez, Luke Venice, Gregory Vilsack,
Robert Vincent, Amber Vining, Jack Voller, Chad Vondren, Michael Wagner, Owen Wagner, Raymond Wallenczak, Claude Waller, Edwin Ward, Gary Ward, Lindsay Warner, Jessica Warren, Susan Waters, Joshua Weber, David Wedding, LaDonna Weir, David Weissing, Joseph Welch, Wayne Welty, Darren Wenzel, Chad West, Charles West, Kenneth West, Ryan Westenberger, Kai Weston, Howard Wilch, Ora Wilkins, Rochelle Wilkinson, Jeffrey Williams, Patrick Williams, Devin Willits, Bradley Wilson, Greg Wilson, Mark Wilson, Albendia Wimbush Sherrod, Charles Wynn, Richard Wolgamuth, David Wolgamuth, Ronald Woolery, Travis Womer, James Woodward, Angela Woolbright, Leanne Woolery, Kenneth Woomer Jr., Dominic Worthy, Augusta May Watt, Karis Wright, David Yates, Richard Yockey, William Yoder, Robert Yoder, Joseph Young, Preston Zachrich, James Zeinglein, Derek Zanders, Donald Zisler, and Deborah Zimmerman. This concludes our program for this afternoon. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you to our Findlay heroes, whose names we had the honor of reading today.
UFTV is your university and community TV station.